Hi, we are going to discuss the use of second control structure in this video. It is about selection, which means processing different expressions or statements based on certain condition. Problems are solved using these structures. In our previous video, we have discussed about sequence as a control structure. Let's go through below example. We are going to decide pass or fail based on the subject mark. These are the steps to follow. First, get marks from the user as our input. Then we need to check marks with a condition. If that condition true, one statement will be followed. If that condition false, another statement will be followed. In this example, we are going to display if marks greater than 50, then pass. Or else, if marks are lower than 50 or equal to 50, then display try again. Instead of the word fail, I have used here the statement try again. You can use any kind of statement to display to the user. Let's represent that steps with the flowchart. In the flowchart, this is the starting point and this one is the ending point. In between start and end, we write all the steps we need to follow. In our example, first we get marks from the user, then we check that marks with the condition. If this condition true, then one path will be carried out. If this condition false, then the other path will be carried out. Here you can see our condition is checking the marks with the number 50. If marks are greater than 50, then we need to display it as pass. So here we are writing that output in the yes path. If marks are not greater than 50, then this path will be carried out. That means it will display try again. Get a new Scratch project and save it into your computer with the proper name. I am going to change the backdrop to a color and I am not going to change this sprite. First I am going to get the user input. For that I am using this block sensing. For that I am typing here the message as enter your marks. Then we need to create a variable for mark. I am naming it as mark. Here you can see now the mark is 0. Then I am going to change this mark to answer. That is in the sensing block. We are getting that and paste it in here. Now when the user enter the mark here, it assigned to this answer and that answer becomes mark. Then I am moving to this block, control block. Here you can see all the controls. First one is wait 1 second. These two control structures are used to represent selection procedure. These are used to represent iterations, which is to be discussed in our next video. In this control structure, only one statement will be carried out after the condition checking. That means only the true part will be carried out. In this one, there are two statements to be carried out. In our example, we are getting the marks, then check the marks with the number 50. If marks are greater than 50, we need to display pass. If marks are not larger than 50, then we need to display try again. So, two statements are carried out in this selection procedure. So, we don't need this one, but we need to get this one to our code. For that, I am using it here. Now we have to write the condition inside that if clause. For that, we have operators block. Go to that one. We have several operators. Here I am using this one. We need to get the variable here. We have created the variable mark and I am dragging that one to this block. So if marks are greater than 50, then what we have to do is display pass. For that I am using looks block and get that one, and here I am going to make it say pass. If this condition falls, that means the else part. We need to display try again. For this one I am going to put a triggering event. That means we have an event block. Get this one, and we can use when flag click, these all steps are to be carried out.